All right, happy Saturday. Thank you all so much for joining me for our 90-minute yoga class. We're going to start with 5 rounds of sun salutations to warm up our body, and then hop into 26 into yoga. For the sun salutes and anything else we do in class, if something does not feel right to you, you are welcome to modify it, do something else, or skip it entirely. Yoga at times can be challenging, and that's okay, but you're never going to a point of pain, a point where you would do harm to yourself or to others. So for the sun salutes, come towards the top of your mat. I'm going to stand back and show you in periphery. We'll start with 2 half sun salutes, which were a great alternative for anyone dealing with current wrist, elbow, or shoulder injuries. We'll start with 2 sun salutes, half salutes, and then we'll go into 3 rounds of full sun salutes. If the half salutes are speaking to you, keep doing those. Don't do the full salutes. Okay. Middle or top of your mat, feet together, hands together at heart center, and begin with 2 rounds of half salutes. As you inhale, lift your arms up overhead, looking up as if you were saluting the sun. Exhale, bend your knees, arms with your ears fold forward, hands to floor, relax your head. Inhale, lengthen into a halfway lift. You want hips over heels, back flat, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, bend your knees, relax your head, look for your shins behind you. Inhale, arms with your ears, hands together, root to rise, lift up, looking up overhead. Exhale, hands down at heart center. That's a half salute. Inhale, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold, stomach in. Inhale, lengthen. You want the weight forward and the balls of your feet look forward. Exhale, hands to floor, relax your head. Inhale, arms with your ears, hands together, stomach in, lift up, looking up overhead. Exhale, hands down at heart center. You're welcome to continue with half salutes or join me in 3 full salutes. Inhale, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to floor, step back into a high plank or tabletop position. From here, on your next exhale, stomach in, lower down halfway. Inhale, come up into a back bend. You can do up dog with arms straight and thighs off the floor, or baby cobra with elbows bent and thighs on the floor. Exhale, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up for down dog. Can bend one knee, straighten the other, pedal out your legs, and then lift your heels to the ceiling, press your heels down to the floor. Lift your hips to the ceiling, push the floor away from you. If down dog is not speaking to you, come down onto your knees and take a child's pose instead. Sink your hips down towards your heels as you stretch your arms forward for a nice back stretch. So every plank can be a tabletop, every up dog can be a cobra, and every down dog can be a child's pose. Lots of options. On your next inhale, hands to the floor, look forward, step forward, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, lift up, looking up overhead. Exhale, hands down at heart center. 2 more. Inhale, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Inhale, lengthen, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, hands to floor, step back, high plank or tabletop. If that lowering down motion doesn't work for you, skip the vinyasa, go straight from your tabletop or plank directly into your child's pose or down dog. Otherwise, chaturanga, lower down halfway. Inhale your up dog or cobra. If you're doing up dog, make sure thighs are off the floor, shoulders away from ears, chest up. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. So for down dog, try to get heels to the floor, hips to the ceiling, spread your shoulders wide and root down through all 28 knuckles, especially the space between your index finger and thumb. So notice if your body weight is in your wrists. Try to press your body weight evenly onto your palms so your wrists don't take your body weight. On your next inhale, look forward, step forward, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms with ears, lift up. Exhale, hands down. Last one. Inhale, lift your arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Inhale, straighten legs, lengthen. Exhale, hands to floor, step back, high plank. Keep exhaling. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Last down dog, try to get heels to floor. You might need to take a wider stance, but keep your hands shoulder width distance. Take a slow Ujjayi breath through your nose. Slow exhale through your nose, just generating a little bit of body heat. One more time, breathe in, slow. Exhale, even slower. Inhale, look forward, step forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, lift up. Exhale, hands down. Wonderful. So that was our warm up. From here, we're going to hop into our beloved 26 and 2 yoga sequence. Come towards the middle of your mat with your feet together, toes, heels touching nicely. Interlock your 10 fingers, cross your thumbs, and glue your knuckles underneath your chin. Rock your weight into your heels. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. You made it to class. Concentrate, meditate, and begin. Inhale, chin down and arms up. Breathe in through your nose. Lift your elbows up. Suck your stomach in. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, head up. Exhale through your mouth. HA, sound head back. Arms forward, elbows touch away from your body. Good. Inhale, chin down. Slowly bring your chin down. Look straight ahead. Lift your elbows all the way up. Breathe deep, full lungs. Exhale, head up slowly. Push your head back. Look way, way, way back for the wall behind you. Arms forward, elbows touch, pointing forward. Inhale, use your chin to push your knuckles down. Keep your fingers interlocked up to the webbing, palms face the floor. Exhale, now use your knuckles to push your head back. Squeeze your palms together, wrists straight, wrists together, forearms, elbows touch. Inhale, head down, breathe in through the nose. Down through your throat to the very bottom of your lungs. Exhale, head up and then breathe from the bottom of the lungs, middle of the lungs, top of the lungs. Exhale, a little bit more than you think you can, elbows touch. Inhale, head down. Every new inhale, you want to take in more air than the last breath to expand your lung capacity. Exhale, head up. The more you exhale here, the more fresh oxygen you can take in on your next breath. Push the air out. Inhale, head down. So make this the deepest breath so far. Breathing into the top of the lungs, middle of the lungs, bottom of the lungs, full lungs. Exhale, head up. In our day-to-day life, we don't really use the full lung capacity, but the lungs need to be worked out like any other part of the body. Inhale, head down. This is the last breath in the first set. Spine a little longer, elbows a little higher, lungs a little fuller. Suck your stomach in, breathe deep, full lungs. Exhale, head up, take your time. Eyes open, hips forward, legs locked, stomach in. Keep exhaling, push, squeeze, elbows touch. Good, change. Arms down, you can roll out your shoulders and head. Second set, feet together, interlock your 10 fingers, switch the grip. Opposite thumb, pinky finger on top. Try to get all of your knuckles underneath your chin so that your top thumb presses into your throat. Squeeze your thighs. Squeeze your butt, grow taller out of the base of your spine, and begin. Inhale, chin down and arms up. Breathe in through your nose, lift your elbows up, suck your stomach in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, head up, exhale through your mouth, like you're fogging up a mirror on the ceiling. Head back, arms forward, elbows touch. Inhale, head down. So it's a snoring sound against the back of your throat. Exhale, head up. It's a sound like you're putting your ear to a shell at the beach. Inhale, head down, a little bit of a Darth Vader snoring sound. We watched Return of the Jedi last night. It's very good. Chin down, elbows up. Exhale, head up. Head back, arms forward, stretch arms forward, elbows touch. Inhale, head down. Keep the weight in your heels. Notice if you're rocking back and forth or side to side. Exhale, head up. So as we arrive in our yoga practice, we're becoming a little bit more aware of our body and our mind. Inhale, head down. So notice what you're thinking about right now. Be here now, chin down, look straight ahead, lift your elbows all the way up. Exhale, head up. Just your head drops back. No backward bending, no leaning back. Keep shoulders over hips, hips over heels, weight in the heels. Inhale, head down, stomach, 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 marsha, 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 depression to abdominal wall, contraction to abdominal muscles. Exhale, head up, suck it in, hold it in tight. So engage your abdominal wall, look back, arms forward, elbows touch. Inhale, head down. 2 more breaths in the second set. Look straight ahead. Can you bring your elbows back as well as up? Exhale, head up. Can you grow taller? Even as you exhale, stomach in, chest up, stretch your arms forward. Keep exhaling, elbows touch. Inhale, head down, last breath. Second set, deepest breath of your life when your lungs are totally full. Surprise yourself. Take in one more sip of air. Exhale, head up. Take your time, let everything go through the exhale breath. Any worries, any cares, let them go. Be here now, elbows touch. Good, change, arms down, roll out your shoulders and head. We'll continue Ardha Chandrasana with Padastasana, half moon with hands to feet pose, feet together. Inhale, arms overhead, palms together, interlock fingers, release index fingers, cross thumbs, stretch up and bend right and left, right and left. Every time you pass through the middle, reach up a little taller, like you're trying to touch the ceiling. Okay, and when you can't stretch anymore, come to stop in the middle. Bring the weight into your heels, squeeze your palms together, squeeze your butt and push your hips a little forward, stomach in, upper body back, touch your arms to your ears. Imagine you're leaning against a wall behind you and you don't want to come off the wall. Inhale, breathing, stretch up out of your waist, try to touch the ceiling. Exhale, breathing, absolutely straight line. Slowly bend your body to the right without bending your elbows and knees. Continuously push your hips to the left beyond your flexibility. You're trying to create a tremendous stretching feeling in the left side of your body, all over, inside out, bones to skin, fingers to toes. Just remember, it's the first posture of the day and there's no rush. Know where you have to be. Nothing you have to prove to yourself or to anyone else. That is a lovely gift that you have given yourself, and nobody can take that away from you. Good for you. Once you can breathe, once you're feeling good, then you focus on alignment. Bring the weight back into your heels. Hips forward, arms back. Left hip forward, right shoulder forward. Everything open to the front of your mat. Once you can breathe, once you got alignment, then you go for depth. Come down, push, 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 change, inhale to come up, hips forward, arms back, stretch up, and slowly bend to the left as you press your hips to the right. So in this posture, we're stretching the right side of the body and compressing the left side of the body. It's good for waking up your spine. In the breathing exercise, we moved the neck, right? And we worked on our lungs, but now we're really moving the whole spine. So push your hips to the right, stretch your upper body to the left, and continue to breathe through your nose. Now in yoga, it's more about form than it is about depth, right? So it's better to stay light and lifted than come down but have the body twisting and the joints kind of bending, right? So keep the weight in your heels, legs locked, hips forward, arms back. Right hip forward, left shoulder forward, like you could still lean against a wall behind you. Come down, push, push, push. Change, inhale to come up. First back bend of the day. I'll show you from the side. This is the only posture I can't really show and tell at the same time. Take a deep breath, full lungs, keep your eyes open. Relax your head back as far as it goes. Maybe give your head a gentle shake, eyes open. Look for the floor behind you, squeeze your butt, lift your chest, and bring your arms back with your ears. Try to touch the wall behind you. So whole spine back, we're bending lower back, middle back, upper back. Bend your total spine backward. Keep the weight in your heels. Push stomach, thighs, hips forward, and then bring your arms back. Look back, fall back, way back, go back, more back. Good. Change. Inhale to come up, stretch up, lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees. Go down with a flat back, safe for the spine. Arms of your ears, hands to floor. Drop your head, go for a walk. Move your hips, shake your head. This is a U-turn from back bending to forward folding. The beginning of class, your spine might not be quite warmed up yet. Hopefully the sun salutes help. Move your hips to get your lower back nice, relaxed, comfortable, easy, flexible. Padastasana, hands to feet pose. Bend your knees halfway. You can grab the backs of your legs or your heels from behind. Step on all 10 fingers. Pull on your heels. Roll your weight into your toes and lift your hips up. So throughout the posture, especially in the first set, keep your knees bent. Stomach to thighs, chest to knees. Let your neck and head hang heavy. Eventually face to the shins. You want to wrap your elbows back behind you as you pull. Pull on your heels. Roll your weight into your toes, lift your hips up, stretch your upper body down from the lower spine to the floor. Pulling is the object of stretching. You're trying to create a tremendous stretching feeling on the back of your body, all over, inside out, bones to skin, fingers to toes with a smiling, happy face. Good, change. Come on up, arms with ears, knees can bend. The safest way to come out is with a flat back. Good, arms down, and you stand a little taller, right? That's the goal. You just stretched your spine in 4 directions. Second set, feet together, arms overhead, palms together, interlock fingers, release index fingers, cross thumbs, weight in your heels, hips forward, arms back, stretch up, and slowly drop to the right as you press your hips to the left. So if you think about it, this posture, we're like just starting to play with balance. There's a little bit of balance involved in pushing your hips to the left and stretching your upper body to the right. And one of my favorite things about this sequence is that it very slowly starts to bring us into more balancing posture. So this is just the beginning of playing around with weight distribution, right? You're pressing your body weight to the left without collapsing, stretching the upper body to the right. It's a little bit hard to stay light and lifted. Chin away from your chest, left hip forward, two hips in line, right shoulder forward, left shoulder back, two shoulders in line, come down, push, push, push. Change, inhale to come up, hips forward, arms back, stretch up, and slowly drop to the left as you push your hips to the right. So all balance is a mathematical equation of weight distribution, right? And it takes us a little bit of time, takes our body a little bit of time to figure out that balance. So the weight is in your heels, and you're pushing your hips to the right as you stretch your body to the left without collapsing. Lift your chin, lift your chest, keep the weight in your heels. Push your right hip forward, two hips in line, left shoulder forward, open your chest like a flower petal blooming, come down, push, push, push. Change, inhale to come up. Second heart opener, deep breath, full lungs, keep your eyes open, drop your head back. Notice if your wrists are bending and your hands are coming apart. It's a bad habit to get into. Squeeze the palms together, keep your wrists straight, all of the arm joints in line. So eyes open, look back, squeeze your butt, lift your chest, and bring your arms back with your ears. So whole spine back bending, whole front of the body stretching. This is a great shoulder, chest, armpit opener. Actively push your hands back, squeeze your palms together, consciously squeeze palms together, push your hands back, keep the weight in your heels, push your hips forward, push your hands back, arms back, look back, fall back, way back, go back, more back, good, change. Inhale to come up, stretch up, lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees, go down, arms with your ears, hands to floor, drop your head, go for another walk, move your hips. Shake your head. Notice what's a little bit more loose in the second set, what's still a little tight and tender. There's no right and wrong, just check in. Second set, Padasana. Try to keep your knees and feet together. It's so hard. Bend your knees halfway. You can grab the backs of your heels or your legs. Pull on your heels. So in some styles of yoga, you'd bend the elbows out to the side, but in this side, in this type, you want to bend the elbows back. Elbows to calves, shoulders to ceiling, belly button to spine. Pull on your heels. Roll your weight into your toes, lift your hips up. Try to slide stomach down thighs, chest down knees. Imagine you're gonna hook your rib cage over your knees, slide your nose down your shins to the floor. You're stretching the back of your body. Pull on your heels, roll your weight into your toes, lift your hips up, push your knees back, try to lock your legs. Good, change, come up, knees together, arms with your ears, palms together, back flat. Good, arms down, and you let that one go. Awkward Utkatasana, step your right foot to the right, 6 inches, hip width distance, not too big of a step. Insides of your feet perfectly parallel, like 11s. Bring your arms up, parallel to the floor. Tricep muscles tight, nothing loose or hanging. Suck your stomach in, bend your knees, sit back and down into a chair. Feet flat position, spine straight to begin with, 100% of your body weight in your heels. Sit down halfway only, hips into a chair. Suck your stomach in, now lean your upper body back, depression to abdominal wall, contraction to abdominal muscles, suck it in, hold it in tight. Sit down 1 more inch, keep the weight in your heels, lift your chin up, chest up, lean back, fall back, way back. Good, change, inhale to come up, keep your arms there, push your hips forward, spread your toes wide. Now come up maximum on your tiptoes like a ballerina. Focus 1 point straight ahead, concentrate, meditate, don't even blink your eyes. Stretch up 1 more inch, bend your knees, and sit down. Lean back, touch your head and hips to an imaginary wall behind you. Heels a little higher, knees a little higher, sit down into a chair. Balance is hard this morning. Sit down into a chair, but don't sit below a chair. Change. Inhale to come up. Last part. Squeeze your knees together. Let your heels come a little off the floor and slowly sit down. Take your time. Stop whenever you want to, or keep sitting down. And then stop when there's a 1/2 inch gap between your hips and your heels. So lift your chest, stomach in, shoulders down. Fingertips active, change, slowly come up, push the floor away from you. Good, heels down, right foot back, arms down. Second set, step your right foot to the right, hip width distance, insides of your feet, not too wide of a step, arms up parallel to the floor, triceps tight, fingertips in line with your collarbones. Stomach in, bend your knees, sit back and down. So in this posture, we're hinging at the hips, right? You want to stick your butt out and fold forward with the weight in your heels. See if you can pick your toes off the floor for a second. From here, sit a little bit lower, shoulders down, and lift up. Stomach in, lift your chin up, chest up, change. Inhale to come up. Keep your arms there. Push your hips forward, spread your toes wide. Now come up all the way on your tiptoes. So now we're really playing around with balance, right? Lift your heels, stretch up, bend your knees, sit down. So think about engaging your core to lengthen your spine. This posture is good for balance and it's really good for strength. Heels a little higher, knees a little higher, sit down into a chair, but don't sit below a chair. Change, inhale to come up. The last part, squeeze your knees together, let your heels come a little off the floor and slowly sit down. Keep your back flat, so hips forward, shoulders down. Stop when there's still a gap between your hips and your heels. Squeeze your knees together and forward, thighs parallel to the floor, arms parallel to the side, spine perfectly straight from the side. Looks like you're holding a box. Change, slowly come up. Good, heels down, right foot back, arms down. So we started balance just by shifting our hips, right? And then we started balance by lifting the heels. And now we're gonna balance on one leg. Eagle pose, Garasana. Inhale your arms over your head. Exhale, swing right arm under left arm, right elbow under left elbow. Cross first at the elbows. Again, if you can at the wrists, palms together, thumbs towards your nose. You can also interlock fingers, grab a finger, or grab opposite shoulders and give yourself a big bear hug. Pull your elbows down, bend your knees, sit down into a chair, stay down there, and bring your right leg over your left leg. Right leg over left leg. Cross first at your knees, again if you can at your ankles. So eventually, wrap your right foot behind your left calf muscle. If your foot is coming out, sit down more. And if you're losing your balance, arch your upper body back. Bring your knees to the right, upper body to the left, twist like ropes. Keep the weight in your heel, sit down more, lean your upper body back at the end. Good, change. Feet together, arms over your head. We'll do the left side. Bring your left arm, zoom, under your right arm, left elbow under right elbow, palms together, thumbs towards your nose, pinkies away from your face. Pull your elbows down, bend your knees, sit down into a chair. Try to keep your hips down low and bring left leg over right leg over right leg, and eventually wrap your left foot behind your right calf muscle. On this side, bring your knees to the left and upper body to the right. If your foot is coming out, sit down more. If you're losing your balance, lean back. So that's the math equation, balance, body distribution, weight distribution thing we're working on here. Lean back when you start to fold forward. Change. Feet together, arms over your head. Second set, bring your right arm under your left arm, think bicep under tricep. Second set, can you get your fingertips in line and your wrists straight, right? So I'm gonna come up real close and show you. So eventually the goal here is to have fingers in line and wrists straight, right? Every time you try to straighten the wrists, the fingers come apart. That's the next step, is working on the wrist deltoid stretch. Pull elbows down, one day fingers go below the nose, sit down low, stay down there, and bring right leg over left leg. And if you can wrap your foot, try to eliminate the gap between your ankle and calf muscle. So rather than flexing your foot, you're going to actively push the top of your right foot into your left calf. Left hip a little forward, right shoulder a little forward. To sit down, you can do it like awkward chair pose. Stick your butt out, fold forward, hinge at your hips, sit down low, and then lean your upper body back at the end. Good, change, feet together, arms over your head. Last one, swing left arm, zoom, under right arm. And for me, this side is a lot different from the other side. And the other side, hands are kind of close together, and this side, hands barely touch. Pull elbows down, one day fingers below the nose, bend your knees, sit down, stay down there, and bring left leg over right leg. So we're not symmetrical. This side might feel a little or a lot different. Certainly does for me. So you're in good company, or at least my company. Bring your knees to the left, upper body to the right. Notice if your hands are way away from your face, you want your thumbs pretty close to your nose. Pull your elbows down, sit down a little bit more, sit down a little bit more, stomach in, arch your upper body back at the end. Good, change, feet together, arms over your head, arms down, party time. You can grab a sip of water if you want. Cheers, friends. Lovely to be here with you all. Okay, let us continue. Standing, head to knee. Dandayamana, Janu Sharasana. So now we're really in the balancing part of class. We're going to continue to balance on one leg. If you fall out, hop back in. Standing head to knee, Dandayamana, Janu Sharasana. Shift your weight to your left leg. Evenly distribute your body weight on your left foot without grabbing the floor with your toes. If you grab the floor with your toes, you can cramp your calf, right? So you want to keep the toes relaxed, but the weight evenly distributed on your left foot. Lift your right leg up, point your toes, flex your toes, keep your right toes flexed back to your face. You have an option to stay here. You're working on your balance, your strength, your grace and patience with yourself. When you're ready, you're going to round forward, maybe 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 fish, blue fish, and eventually pick up your right foot, all 10 fingers interlocked, webbing to webbing grip. This is the setup for standing head to knee pose, and you'll notice your head is pretty close to your knee. Standing legs should be solid, concrete, one piece, lamppost, unbroken. You have no knee. If you've been coming for a while, which all of you have, and you know your left leg is locked, no bend, no wobble. Inhale, breathing slowly, gently, lift your right leg up. Stretch it forward until your right leg is exactly parallel to the floor. No higher, no lower, standing leg locked. Take a deep breath. Kick your heel forward, flex your toes back towards your face from the ankle. You're training your Achilles to stretch. If the standing leg is bending, posture hasn't started. If both legs lock from the side legs make an L, like Linda, bend your elbows down. Touch elbows to calf muscles, bring your chest down more. One day elbows go below the calf muscles, lock your knee, lock your knee, lock your knee, change, slowly reverse out. Shift your weight to your right leg, evenly distribute your body weight on your right foot. Lift your left leg up, point your toes, flex your toes, keep your toes flexed back. So see if for a second you could almost lift your right heel off the floor. You want the weight in the ball of your foot, not just the heel, right? Flex your toes back, option to stay here, stomach in, or when you're ready, start to round down and pick up your foot. Contract your inner thigh as well as your outer thigh. Lift your right kneecap up, squeeze your right butt cheek. So you want to use all the muscles in your standing leg to keep your joint stacked, hip over knee over ankle. You're not using your flexibility, you're using your strength to keep the joints in place. When you're ready, lift your left leg up. It's a real kick your heel forward, flex your toes back. You're training your Achilles to stretch. If your standing leg is bending a lot, like if it's bending a little, whatever, but if it's bending a lot, right, lift your hips up so that your knee is over your ankle rather than your big toe, safer for the kneecap. If both legs lock from the side legs make an L, like Linda, bend your elbows down, bring your chest and shoulders down. One day elbows go below the calf muscle, heel forward, toes back, stomach in, change, slowly reverse out. You can put your hands on your back and do a little back bend, or a knee bend. Second set, shift your weight to your left leg, lock your left leg, lift your right leg up, flex your toes back. So again, you're squeezing left glute, outer thigh, inner thigh, lift your kneecap up. Flex your toes back, don't forget to breathe, round down, pick up your right foot. So especially when we round down, this becomes cardiovascular, right? The heart is coming down towards the floor. The more you bring the heart towards the floor, more heart has to work to pump the blood up towards the head. Concentrate, meditate, when you're ready, lift your right leg up. Notice if your foot's crossing the center line of your body, bring your right heel a little to the right. If both legs lock, bend elbows down. If elbows go below calf muscles, slowly tuck your chin to your chest. Put your forehead on your knee. Hold where you are, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your time as you reverse out, change. Very nice. Last one, shift your weight to your right leg, lock your right leg, lift your left leg up, flex your toes back, stomach in, round down, pick up your left foot. You're welcome to start with your knee a little higher into your chest too. Concentrate, meditate. Don't forget to have fun. Here we go. Lift your left leg up. So notice if the foot is crossing the center line of your body or your heel is turning in. If your heel is turning in, your hip is turning in. Bring your left heel to the left and lock both legs. Then bend elbows down. If elbows go below calf muscles, keep moving your hips forward. Tuck your chin to your chest and eventually knee and head touch. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your time as you reverse out. Good for you. Standing bow pulling pose, Dandayamana, Dhanurasana. Feet together. Bring your right hand up, elbow touches the body, palm faces the ceiling. Bring your hand out to the right and give yourself a high five for practicing yoga this morning. Woo, reach back without turning or twisting your wrist. Pick up the inside of your right foot at the ankle bone. Bring your left arm up and back with your ear. And then try to bring your right hip forward and down. So knees together to start. Lock your left leg. Point your right toes. Take a deep breath, stretch up, and slowly charge your body forward. Simultaneously, kick your right leg back and up. Slowly bring the body down and the leg up. See the foot come directly over the top of your head. So from the side, 2 heels in line. Kick back and up, in other words, 2 shoulders in line. Touch your chin to your shoulder blade, scapula coming out of the body, kicking, stretching, equal, simultaneous, 50-50. The harder you kick, you can balance forever, kick really hard. The more you come down to parallel, the more the heart rate increases. Body down more, leg up more, kick, kick, kick. Good, change slowly, kick yourself up, take your time. Or if you're like me, just fall to the side. Okay, bring your left hand up, out to the left, reach back, pick up the inside of your left foot at the ankle bone, thumb with your index finger, bring your right arm up, left hip forward, knees together. Lift your right kneecap, point your left toes, take a breath, lift up first, and slowly kick into your hand as you charge your body forward. Take your time and go slow. Notice when you fall out, do you always fall like forward, backward, or to one side? Note that, right? So usually when we fall forward, we're not kicking hard enough. If we fall back, we're not stretching enough. And if we fall to one side, there's probably something a little bit interesting going on with the hip and shoulder alignment. So sometimes we're so used to lifting the left hip up that when we start to correct that hip alignment, we fall to the side a lot. That's okay. Eventually, you're going to get your 2 hips in line. And that's like the difference between yoga versus ballet or contortion, is you want to keep your hips in line the whole time when you do the standing splits. Body down to parallel, leg up to the floor, kick, kick, kick. Good, change. Slowly kick yourself up, feet together, arms down. So in ballet, you have what's called turnout, which is where the hip turns way out to get into the standing splits, right? But that's why a lot of ballerinas get hip replacement when they're 40 years old in standing bow pulling pose. Rather than letting the hip turn out as you kick, you're going to try to keep the hip down, and that's what protects that hip socket. So even if you don't go into the standing splits or you fall out for a month because you're adjusting that, try to keep your hips in line. Second set, bring your right hand up, out to the right, reach back, pick up the inside of your right foot at the ankle bone, left arm up, right hip forward, knees together. Squeeze your left thigh, point your right toes, take a breath, stretch up, and slowly kick, stretch, and breathe. So notice when that hip starts to open, you're gonna bring the right hip down. It's so hard, I know. Left hip back, and then kick back. So notice if the foot is coming to the left of your head, you're gonna drop the right hip down so the foot comes directly over the top of your head. Charge your body forward, kick back and up, body down more, leg up more, kick, kick, kick. Good, change slowly. Kick yourself up. Last one, bring your left hand up, out to the left, reach back, pick up the inside of your left foot at the ankle bone, right arm up, left hip forward, make sure thumb with your index finger, yeah, thumb with index finger. Squeeze your right thigh, point your left toes, stretch up, and slowly swipe your inner thighs together as you swipe your arm along the profile of your face, kick back and up to the ceiling. So when we keep the hips in line, then the shoulders can stretch apart, and then the spine really twists. Slowly bring the body down and the leg up. Foot comes over the top of your head. Chest down more, heel up more, kick, kick, kick. Good, change. Whew. Kick yourself up, feet together, arms down. And working on your hips and standing bow serves you for the next posture, balancing stick. Come to the back of your mat, Tula Dandasana, balancing stick, feet together. Inhale, arms overhead, palms together. Interlock your fingers, release your index fingers, cross your thumbs and lean back. Step your right foot forward. Shift your weight to your right foot. Stretch up first. Lock both legs, point your left toes and tilt. Notice when your left hip wants to pop up. Try to keep your left hip down. 2 hips in line. Arms, body, head, legs, everything parallel to the floor. From the side, body makes a T like Tom, not a broken umbrella. Stretch, 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 change. Left foot down, right foot back, arms back, lean back. Step your left foot forward. Shift your weight to your left foot. Stretch up, lock both legs, point your right toes, and now tilt. Notice when the right hip pops up. Drop your right hip down. Spiral your inner right thigh up. Try to keep sole of right foot flat to the ceiling. Chest down, chin forward, heel up, stretch. Change, right foot down, left foot back, arms down. So one of my other favorite things about this sequence is that every posture prepares your body for the next one. So in standing bow, when you hear charge your body forward, shoulder blade, scapula coming out of the body, it's so you can charge your body forward, shoulder blade, scapula coming out of the body, right? You're preparing the shoulders, you're preparing the hips. Second set, balancing stick, arms overhead, palms together, interlock fingers, release index fingers, cross thumbs, lean back, step your right foot forward, lock both legs, point your left toes, stretch up, and tilt. And remember, it's form before depth. Better to stay light and lifted, arms with your ears, back flat, hips in line, than to come down with the hip lifting, the spine twisting, elbows bending, right? Eventually, chest down, chin forward, heel up, stretch, change. Left foot down, right foot back, lean back, step your left foot forward, lock both legs, stretch up, and tilt. So in standing head to knee, you rounded the spine. In standing bow, you did a back bend. So here you want to stretch the spine, flat back, something a little different. Body down, leg up, stretch, stretch, stretch. Change, right foot down, left foot back, arms down. Enough of that. You're welcome to come to the top of your mat and face the long side of your mat for the next 3 postures. I will continue to face you. Standing separate leg stretching, Dandayamana, Vikaptapada, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, step your right foot to the right, 4 feet minimum, big step, arms down parallel to the floor. Lock your legs, lift your chest, and swan dive forward. So think about it, in balancing stick, we did flat back, and in stretching pose, we're doing a flat back, straight spine. Grab your heels from behind. If you can't grab your heels, try to grab the outsides of your feet, maybe hook onto a pinky toe to pull, or start with your hands on the floor in front of you. Everybody roll forward. Roll your weight forward so you could lift your heels off the floor. Find your edge. You want hips over heels. Lift your hips, push your knees back, lock your legs. You want hips over knees, over ankles from the side. First the leg stretching, then the hip stretching, lower spine, whole body stretching, 360-degree angle stretching, coccyx to toes. Coccyx to forehead, touch your forehead to the floor in between your feet. If your forehead's already touching the floor, take a smaller step. If your forehead's nowhere near the floor, everybody take a bigger step. Roll forward, hips up, knees back, lock your legs, pull, stretch, touch your head to the floor in between your feet. Good, change. Slowly come up, take your time. Very nice, step your right foot back to the place, arms over your head, and arms down. Take a breath. I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago, this astronaut went into space, and one of the reasons, I mean, I'm sure he's a great astronaut, but one of the reasons why they chose him is because he has an identical twin brother, right? So they could have somebody with very similar genetic makeup here on Earth and then compare the 2 of them. And when this guy in outer space, this astronaut, when he came back down to Earth, he'd grown 2 inches. How cool is that? Now, of course, a couple of weeks later, he compressed again, right? But the idea was when he was out of gravity, his spine actually grew. That's super cool. So in this posture, rather than being in a 0 gravity chamber or being in a super gravity chamber, you are using gravity and the pull of your hands to really stretch your spine. So maybe you can grow 2 inches too. Second set, arms over your head, step your right foot to the right, big step, arms down parallel to the floor. I'll show you second set from the side. Lock your legs, lift your chest, and swan dive forward. That actually happened to a student of mine, which is pretty cool. And she was perimenopausal as well, which is like really rare for somebody in that stage of their life to grow, but she actually grew 2 inches. It's pretty crazy. Bend your elbows back, elbows to calf, shoulders to ceiling, belly button to spine. So you want to stretch the hamstrings and stretch the spine, right? Roll forward, hips up, touch your forehead to the floor. If it's too easy to touch your head to the floor, take a smaller step so your spine can grow even more. If your forehead's nowhere near the floor, take a bigger step so your spine can grow even more. Roll forward, hips up, knees back, lock your legs, pull, stretch, touch your head to the floor, in between your feet. Good, change. Slowly come up, take your time. Step your right foot back, arms over your head, and arms down. Now in this next posture, triangle trikonasana, even though it's a different posture, I want you to still think about growing taller with your spine. So you're still stretching up. Triangle trikonasana, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, step your right foot to the right, big step, 4 feet minimum, arms down parallel to the floor. Push your hips forward, lean your upper body back, turn your right foot out, left toes in a little bit, make sure heels are in line. Bend your right leg and lunge. So sometimes when the lower body sits down, the upper body wants to sit down too. As you're lunging, you might need a bigger step. Keep sitting down, but keep lifting your chest up. So sit down as low as you can, lift your chest, keep your spine straight in the middle, and just move your arms. Right elbow in front of the knee, left arm up to the ceiling, look up towards the ceiling, touch your chin to your shoulder, and breathe in and out through your nose. Push your left hip forward and down. Push your right knee back with the help of your elbow, and then lift your right side body off of your right thigh. Reach your left arm up, stretch your right arm down, feel your chest open up, turn, twist, lock your left leg, keep your whole left foot flat on the floor. Change, rotate your arms, straighten your right leg, right toes in, left toes out, get your 2 heels in line, not crisscross. Inhale, bend your left leg and lunge. You can bounce a couple times. Sit as low as you can, but rather than collapsing down, you're gonna lift your chest up and now move your arms. Elbow in front of the knee, right arm up to the ceiling. Eventually, look up towards the ceiling and imagine you could place your whole body against a wall in front of you, even the profile of your face. So look up and stretch up. Push your right hip forward and down. Push your left knee back with the help of your elbow, and then lift your left obliques off of your left thigh. Sit down more, chest up more, keep stretching the spine up to the ceiling, turn, twist upper body back, lock your right leg, keep your right foot flat on the floor. Change, rotate your arms, straighten your left leg, left toes in, right foot back, arms over your head, float your arms down. Take a breath, shoulders down, chin up. Second set, arms overhead, step your right foot to the right, big step, arms down parallel to the floor, hips forward, arms back, right foot out, maybe left toes in a little bit, bend your right leg and lunge. You want your right thigh to be parallel to the floor. At first, maybe we can't sit down all the way, that's okay. Sit as low as you can, stay down there and move your arms. At first, maybe just the forearm in front of the knee, so you have a long diagonal line from your ankle to the crown of your head rather than collapsing down. As you're ready, you're gonna drop your left thigh down and bend your right knee. So eventually elbow in front of the knee, but don't touch the floor, don't push any weight on the floor. Look up, stretch up, turn, twist upper body back like Ardha Matsyendrasana. Keep your left leg locked, left foot flat on the floor. Change, rotate your arms, straighten your right leg, right toes in, left toes out. Make sure your heels are in line, not crisscross. Bend your left leg and lunge. So to sit down, you can rotate your right hip towards your left knee, right? You can push the right hip forward, but try to keep your chest opening. Sit down as low as you can, lean back and move your arms. Notice if your right knee is bending or your ankle is rolling in, keep your right leg nice and locked and your right foot flat on the floor. Drop your right thigh down. Reach your right arm up, stretch your left arm down. You want to feel a huge stretch across your chest. This is a good heart opener, good hip opener, good spine twist. Turn, twist upper body back, lock your right leg, right foot, flat on the floor. Change, rotate your arms, straighten your left leg, left toes in, right foot back, arms up, and arms down. Okay, in the separate leg series, we've stretched the spine, we've stretched and twisted the spine, and now we're gonna round the spine. Standing, separate leg, head to knee, Dandayamana, Bikaptapada, Janusharasana. Inhale, arms overhead, palms together, only cross your thumbs. Exhale, step your right foot to the right, 3 feet minimum, maybe 4 feet. Pivot on your heels to one side of the room. Turn your back toes in, turn your left toes in. Push your left hip forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. 2 hips in line, 2 heels in line, backside foot makes a 45-degree angle. Stretch up, tuck your chin to your chest, and you go down. Chin to chest, stomach in, bend your right leg, touch your knee and head together. Now this is a rounded spine posture from standing. It's great for strengthening your core and opening space in the back, but it can be quite intense, especially in a non-heated room in winter in the morning. So take it easy. You're never forcing your forehead and knee to touch. However, a couple things you can do. You can take a bigger step. You can bend your front leg. And if you have range of motion in your neck, really tuck your chin to your chest, round your spine, touch your forehead and knee together, front side compression, throat choked, eyes open, breathing normal. Push your forehead into your knee, lock both legs, hands together, change, slowly uncurl, left hip forward, left shoulder forward, full stop at the top. Good, pivot on your heels to the other side of the room. Uncross your heels, my heels always get crisscross in transition. Turn your back right heel out and your back right toes in. Then push your right hip forward, forward, forward until your hips and shoulders are square to your mat. Stretch up, tuck your chin to your chest, and go down. Chin to chest, stomach in, bend your left leg, touch your knee and head together. Again, you can take a bigger step, you can bend your front leg, you can turn your back toes in a little bit more, bring your knee and head close together. And even if you can't touch your forehead and knee together, do keep your chin tucked to your chest. You're stimulating thyroid, parathyroid, or throat chakra, trapping a little bit of prana energy in the throat. Lift your left hip up, right hip forward. Keep your 2 hips in line, 2 heels in line, backside foot at a 45-degree angle, stomach in. Push your forehead into your knee, lock both legs, hands together, change, slowly uncurl, arms with your ears, right hip forward, head up, last. Good, pivot on your heels, step your right foot back, arms down, wonderful, take a breath. Second set, arms overhead, palms together, cross your thumbs, try other thumb on top, go crazy. Step your right foot to the right, big step, it's the weekend. Pivot on your heels, turn your back toes in, push your hips forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Stretch up, tuck your chin to your chest and go down. Hands together, chin to chest, stomach in, bend your front leg if you need to, take a bigger step if you need to, touch your knee and head together. Right, so this is deep compression to the front of the body. It's good for strengthening the core. It's good for massaging the internal organs. And some people say that when you pull your stomach in this much, you actually squeeze into the pancreas on the deepest level of the abdominal wall. Some people say it's good for folks with adrenal fatigue or with type 2 diabetes. Push your forehead into your knee, lock both legs, hands together, change, slowly uncurl. Left hip forward, left shoulder forward, full stop at the top. Good, pivot on your heels to the other side of the room. Uncross your heels, I'm gonna show you from the front. So you want your heels in line, but not crisscross. That'll make it really hard to balance. Okay, push your right hip forward, maybe left shoulder back, stretch up, palms together, tuck your chin to your chest, go down. So purportedly, this posture is good for those with hyper or hypothyroidism, with the chin to chest. You're stimulating and regulating the thyroid. And purportedly good for people with type 2 diabetes as you stimulate the pancreas, right? If nothing else, it's a really good abdominal wall workout. It's a really good back stretch. And it's good for your balance, right? Bring the weight into your front foot, left hip up, right hip forward, 2 hips in line. Try to bring your hands back together if they separated. Push your forehead into your knee, lock both legs, hands together, change, slowly uncurl, right hip forward, right shoulder forward, full stop at the top. Good. Pivot on your heels, step your right foot back, arms down. Okay, we're gonna balance on one foot again. Come to the middle of your mat for tree pose, Tadasana. Squeeze your left thigh, lock your left leg, and lift your right leg up. Hold on to your right foot from underneath the foot with your left hand, or maybe even both hands. Touch your heel to your costio, your groin, sole of foot flat to ceiling. Slowly, gently let your right knee drop down and back into a half lotus shape. Never force your knees. You're gonna feel it in your hip, but not your knee. Bring your right hand up to the center of your chest. And if you can balance, left hand up. Elbows down, chest up, spine straight from the side. So notice if you're leaning forward and sticking your butt out, push your hips forward and lean back. Good, change, right leg down. Shift your weight to your right leg, contract inner thigh as well as outer thigh, and lift your left leg up. Evenly distribute your body weight on your right foot without grabbing the floor with your toes. Slowly, gently, let your left knee drop down and back into a half lotus shape, again, never forcing your knees. Left hand up, and if you can balance right hand. On this side, my foot falls a lot. You're always welcome to hold on to your foot. If this hurts your knee to have your heel this high, then by all means lower the leg. But if you can keep your heel with your costume just by holding on to your foot and you're not in pain, do it. It's a great hip opener. Good, change, left leg down. You can do a second set of tree. You can also try another fun posture called toe stand, Padangustasana. Pick a spot on the floor, 4 feet in front of you. Don't move your eyes, lock your left leg and lift your right leg up. So by picking a spot on the floor, it's really good for balance. And it's also good outside of the room for like concentration and meditation. If you can pick one spot on the floor here and not even blink your eyes, it's easier to focus on a task outside of the room as well. You can bring one or both hands together, stomach in, fold forward. Hands to floor, lock your hands forward, lean forward, lift your heel, bend your knee, sit down. Walk your hands back to either sides of your hips and breathe through your nose. Left hand up to the center of your chest. Right hand up, palms together, elbows down, spine straight, maybe come a ½ inch off your heel. Good. When you're ready, hands to floor. You can come up on 2 feet or lift your hips up and then press your hips forward to reverse out. Good. Change. Right leg down, shift your weight to your right leg, lock your right leg and lift your left leg up. And from here, if you're ready, you're gonna fold forward, hands to floor. However, if you never go into toe stand because the folding forward part is not for you, there's a way to do this posture from the floor, which I will show you if you would like to join me. To build from the floor, you come onto all fours, a tabletop position with your toes tucked under. You're gonna walk 1 foot around, put your ankle on top of your thigh, walk yourself back, and now you're in toe stand without that folding forward action, right? So I'll show you from the front as well. Come into tabletop with your toes tucked under, put one ankle on top of your thigh, walk your hands back, and then you're in toe stand. Look at that. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can come up on 2 feet or reverse out, lift your hips up, and push your hips forward. Very nice, good for you. Change, honor yourself, give yourself high five, fist bump, turn around, Savasana. Head to the front of your mat, feet to the back of your mat. So I have some tricks up my sleeve like that for different postures. So if there's ever a posture that just doesn't feel accessible to you, please let me know and I will do my best to make it accessible. Okay. On the floor for the rest of class, lie on your back, head to the front of your mat, feet to the back of your mat, heels together, toes fall open, arms down, palms face the ceiling, eyes open, mouth closed, breathing normal. Take a slow inhale and a slow exhale. Okay, Pavana Muktasana when removing pose. Bend your right leg up, interlock your 10 fingers. Grab your right shin just below the knee, nice tight white knuckle grip. Pull your knee out to the right, down towards your shoulder, completely avoid your rib cage. Keep your head on the floor, look down the center line of your body, pull down extra hard, maximum pressure in your lower abdomen. Change, right leg down, bend your left leg up, interlock your 10 fingers, grab your left shin just below the knee. Pull your knee out to the left, down towards your shoulder, avoid your rib cage. Keep your right leg on the floor. If your right calf muscle does not naturally touch the floor, flex your right toes back to your face. Change, left leg down, both legs lift up, grab your elbows each other. Give yourself a big hug for coming to class, squeeze your knees together down. Keep your head on the floor. Without lifting your head, look down the center line of your body and hold still. Eventually, or in the future, when the bone, joint, skeletal system has improved, the whole spine from coccyx to the neck will be flat on the floor. Change, arms down and eyes open. Second set, bend your right leg up, interlock your 10 fingers, maybe switch the grip, other thumb, pinky finger on top, pull your knee out to the right, down towards your shoulder. Notice if your right foot is kind of like sneaking to the left and the knee is coming to the right, that's the hip opening, right? So you want to bring the right foot to the right so that ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder are all in one line. Hips are square. Change, right leg down, left leg up, pull your knee out and down. So this is part of the hip opening series, just like tree and toe. You could imagine if you were to bring your left foot all the way in, heel to costume, right? Then you would be in tree pose, just on your back rather than on your foot. So it's a little bit of a different hip opener. Left foot to the left, so knee, ankle, hip in line. Change, left leg down, both legs up, grab your elbows each other. I think because we have a savasana and then we're on the floor, it's hard to see sometimes that these postures are related to tree pose and toe stand before class, but they're all what's called the hip opening series, right? Squeeze your knees together. So in this one, we're really keeping the hips in line, trying to lengthen the whole back to the floor. Good, release, arms down, eyes open. So this yoga, we do it in mini series, right? So there's like the balancing series, the separate leg series. We just did the hip opening series. Next, we do the spine strengthening series. This is the real meat of the class. The tofu meat, of course. If you have any back concerns, skip the sit up, roll off to the side. Knee is on your stomach. Otherwise, legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin into your chest, sit up. Good, elbows to floor, forehead to knees. Okay, turn, lie on your stomach for the spine strengthening series, starting with Cobra. Bhujangasana, good for your lower lumbar spine. Place your hands flat on the floor below your shoulders so your elbows point up to the ceiling like grasshopper wings. Zip up your legs like a cobra's tail. Toes and heels touch. Lock your legs, look up, and lift. Stretch your upper body off the floor. Use 100% spine strength. Come up halfway only, just your belly button on the floor. The rest of your chest is in the air. Elbows stay bent and make an L, a 90-degree angle like a rectangle. Hug your arms into your sides. Stretch your elbows down towards your hips to decompress the neck and shoulders. You want to open through the chest and squeeze through the shoulder blades. Squeeze through your feet and knees. Keep your feet together, toes, heels, knees touch. Lock your legs, push your feet down, hips down, hands down. Look up, chin up, chest up, stretch up, breathe up. Good. Change slowly with control, lower down. Look to your right, left ear on your mat. Arms down, palms face the ceiling, toes together, heels swall open. Second set, bring your chin forward, hands flat on the floor just below your shoulders, elbows point up to the ceiling. Bring your feet together like a cobra's tail, toes and heels touch. Lock your legs, look up and lift. Stretch your upper body off the floor. So you're gonna feel this nice opening through the chest, compression to the back. Make sure your hands are flat, not cupping, all 5 fingers together. So this is the first posture in the spine strengthening series. All of these postures are so good for your back, relieving back pain, helping you to stand a little bit taller when you leave the room. Shoulders down, chest up, feet together, look up, chest up. Good, change, slowly lower down. Look to your left, right ear on your mat, arms down, heels open. Locust, Shalabhasana, chin forward, arms straight position, rotate your arms, palms face the floor, shoulders face the floor, so palms face the floor, thumbs outside, pinky fingers inside. Option to stay right here with your arms down by your side, or as you're ready, walk your arms underneath you, right, left, right, left. One day arms invisible underneath the torso. It is common that the elbows, wrists, or shoulders are a little bit uncomfortable with the arms under the body. That's okay. But if it's like, ouch, painful, or if it hurts after class when you do that, bring your arms out to the side. Just make sure triceps are tight, palms face down, eyes open. Lock your right leg, point your right toes, and lift your right leg up to a 45-degree angle, half of 90. See the foot come directly over the top of your head. Press your shoulders down, bend your elbows a little bit, tricep muscles tight, lock your right leg, squeeze your right butt cheek, point your right toes, lengthen to lift. Change, slowly right leg down. Relax your right leg, lock your left leg, point your left toes, and lift your left leg up. Imagine you're drawing a line up the back wall, use your left big toe. Spiral your inner left thigh up to keep your 2 hips in line, sole of the left foot flat to the ceiling. press your shoulders down, change, left leg down. Third part, tuck your chin and mouth down, mouth on your mat, bring your arms a little closer underneath you, spread your fingers wide, keep your feet together, toes, heels touch, lock your legs, point your toes and lift both legs up, come up, everybody come up, struggle a little harder, don't give up, notice if the knees are bending, knees together, feet together, lock your legs, squeeze your butt, roll forward for leverage, lift your thighs up, good, change, slowly lower down, bring your arms out, look to the right, left ear on your mat. So we were talking a little bit before class about like injuries and yoga injuries. A lot of times what folks are scared about getting hurt of in class is like not actually what you're going to get scared of. So one thing I hear a lot about is like, what if I hyperextend my leg? Well, we hear about hyperextension injuries in like football a lot, which is like 220-pound men running full speed at each other. Hyperextension injuries are often happen when you're in motion and then your whole body weight pushes as you're in motion into a joint. That's very different from like locking a kneecap when you're in a standing posture, but you're holding still, right? Don't be so nervous about like people who are really flexible. I want to be careful to say this. People who are super flexible, do be careful about hyperextension. You know that's you if you've got like, you can hyperextend your elbows and stuff like that, right? But for folks who aren't super flexible, don't be so worried about hyperextension injuries. Be more worried about like, are you pushing yourself too hard in a posture in general, right? It's not so much about pushing a joint back. It's like, are you gritting your teeth and like contracting your muscles so much that you're in pain? That's when you're kind of in trouble. Second set, bring your chin forward, arm straight position, bring your arms underneath you. So the flexi folks, right? If your elbows are pushing down rather than your shoulders, micro bend the elbows a little bit. Everybody else, you can lengthen your arms as much as you'd like. Lock your right leg, point your right toes and lift your right leg up to a 45-degree angle, half of 90. So this is a good example of like, you are trying to stack your leg joints in place, right? So it's a nice long leg, the knee isn't bending, but you're holding still. You're using your strength to keep the muscles, to keep the joints in place. So there's not so much a worry about hyperextension of the knee here. Change right leg down, relax your right leg, lock your left leg, point your left toes and lift your left leg up. So when it's like a low impact workout, right? When we're not like jumping in space so much, you don't have to be too worried about hyperextension of the joints. You have to be more worried about like stretching, overstretching the muscle. Change, left leg down. Third part, tuck your chin and mouth down. Bring your arms a little closer, squeeze your butt, lock your legs, point your toes, and lift both legs up, roll forward. Everybody come up, struggle a little harder. Don't give up, mouth down, shoulders down, triceps tight, squeeze your butt, lock your legs, point your toes, lift your thighs up. Good, change, slowly lower down, bring your arms out, look to the left, right ear on your mat. So in yin yoga, where you hold postures for like 5 minutes, some teachers, not me, but some teachers actually say that like hyperextension is okay. And one of the examples they use is like braces, right? Like what you put on your kids' teeth in middle school, braces, okay? If you were to try and, they call it exercise your teeth. If you were to try and like move all of your teeth at once with braces, teeth would fall out, right? It would be a disaster, not good. But here's what braces do. A little bit every day for the whole day, right? Just a little micro change every single day. And that's what longer held postures are like, whether it's in this style of yoga and yin yoga, whatever it is. Rather than trying to make everything happen at once, you just do a little bit every day and slowly over time, the body opens up. It's more like having braces than mouth surgery. Purna Shalabhasana, full locust, right? It's more sustainable. Bring your chin forward, arms out to the sides. That's why we always say form before depth. Feet together, toes, heels touch, lock your legs, point your toes, look up and lift. Did we do 2 sets of? Okay, well, either way, feet together, toes, heels touch. Sorry if we skipped 1 set. Lock your legs, point your toes, feet together, squeeze your butt, lock your legs, point your toes, look up, thighs up, chin up, chest up, look up, come up a little higher at the end. Good, change, slowly lower down, tuck in your wings, look to the right, lift your on your mat. Sorry if we skipped 1 set of locust pose. My body tells me we did, but my mind is okay with it because I don't like that posture. Second set, bring your chin forward, arms out to the side, feet together, toes, heels touch, squeeze your butt, lock your legs, point your toes, look up and fly. Everything lifting off the floor, feet together, toes, heels touch, fingertips together, spread your arms apart, keep your feet together, squeeze your butt more than you think you can, lift your thighs up, chin up, chest up, look up, come up a little higher at the end. Good, change, slowly lower down, tuck in your wings, look to the left, right here on your mat. Dhanurasana floor bow. Chin forward, bend your legs, grab your feet from the outside, 2 inches below the toes, thumbs with your index fingers. I'm a bad yoga teacher. Point your toes, squeeze your butt, look up towards the ceiling, and start to kick into your hands. Good, continuously keep kicking without stopping, without intermission. It's the kick that drives the posture. This posture is great for your digestion, right? Roll forward, freeze between your ribs and hips, hold still. Do little sips of air in and out through your nose. Bring your knees in, feet out, wrists straight, point your toes, look up to the ceiling, kick, kick, kick. Good, change, slowly lower down. Look to your right, left ear on your mat. But here's the thing, because we are less likely to get like a high impact injury in yoga, one of those injuries, right? You see in football, somebody falls down and immediately they know they're injured, right? Because it was an in motion, high impact injury, like immediately you know something's wrong. Sometimes that happens in yoga, but a lot of times it's more this like sneaking little suspicion in your mind, maybe that like something is not working for your hip joint, or like, ooh, that really hurts your shoulder muscle, or whatever it is, right? It's a little bit harder to tell, like, am I in pain or not? Second set, bring your chin forward, bend your legs, grab your feet from the outside, 2 inches below the toes, thumbs with your index fingers, squeeze your butt, point your toes, look up towards the ceiling and kick into your hands. Continuously keep kicking without stopping, without intermission. Bring your inner thighs close together, knees in, feet out, wrists straight, point your toes, look up to the ceiling. Try to get your thighs off the floor, kick, kick, kick. Good, change slowly with control, lower down, look to your left, right ear on your mat. Take a breath. Bring your chin forward, hands to the floor, push up. Come to the top of your mat, fixed firm, Supta Vidrasana. I'll show you from the side. Open your knees, open your feet. And when you're ready, walk your hands back. You can keep your hands in front of you, beside you, or behind you the whole time. Eventually sit down between your heels, never force your knees, never force your body. If you can sit down between your feet comfortably, toes pointing back, knees on the floor, you're not in pain, put your hands on your feet, right elbow down, left elbow down, drop your head back, head on the floor, tuck your chin in, neck, shoulders on the floor, arms over your head, grab your elbows each other and hold. And I'm talking about injuries specifically in this class because it's nobody's first rodeo. And again, sometimes when people start yoga, they're scared of injuries that they see like in sports where people are moving at high speed. Yoga injuries can be a little bit different. It's more like a repetitive stress injury. And again, it can be a little bit more difficult to tell, right? Like, am I pushing myself too hard? Is this like a good discomfort versus a bad pain? It's a little bit more difficult to tell when you're holding still in postures or moving slowly rather than fast in time and space. Change, put your hands on your feet, push yourself up, head up last, turn around, Savasana. So my measurement for you, if you can't tell, like in class, if you're like, I'm not sure if this is like good discomfort or bad pain, my measurement is how do you feel after class? And how do you feel after like a couple classes in a row, right? Because sometimes in class, we're a little bit uncomfortable, but after class, we feel like, whew, a weight has been lifted off us, and that's great. But if after class, you're like hobbling around, that's maybe a sign that you pushed yourself a little bit too far, right? We do, 60-minute, 90-minute yoga so that the rest of our day goes a little bit more smoothly. If the rest of your day is not so smooth because of your yoga practice, it's a sign you can keep coming to yoga, just do a little bit less. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good, come to the top of your mat. I'm not into like throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? You can always come to class, you just do a little less, take it easy. Open your knees a little wider, 8 to 10 inches between your knees, and start to walk your hands back. So first set was tough, try opening your knees wider. If you can sit between your heels easily though, then maybe knees together. Put your palms on your soles, right elbow, left elbow, head back, head to floor. Tuck your chin in, neck, shoulders on the floor, arms over your head. Grab your elbows each other and hold. Wherever you are is perfect. You want a gentle stretch through your toes, ankles, knees, thighs, and hips, but never a point of pain. Good, change. Put your hands on your feet, push yourself up, head up last, turn around, Savasana. So in my newsletter, I shared the 8 limbs of yoga, right? So the ones that we outwardly practice in 26 and 2 yoga are hatha yoga, the postures, right? What we're doing, and then pranayama yoga, which is the breathing exercises, which we do at the beginning and end of class. But there's other limbs of yoga, right? And the first limb of yoga is yamas, which are like social contracts, kind of like the 10 commandments of yoga. And the first rule, the first yama is ahimsa, and it means do no harm. It doesn't say, you know, stay in your comfort zone, right? But it's do no harm. So if at any point in class you're like, ooh, I could go deeper into the posture, but I know it's going to hurt. Just think about like you're actually doing more yoga or a deeper depth of yoga by doing no harm, right? That's the first rule. So if you can push yourself, but it's harmful, it might look cool on Instagram. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not really yoga, right? We're honoring that first yama, that first social contract, do no harm to yourself, to others. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. And I'm sharing that for the go-getters, myself included, right? The people sometimes like ego gets in the way a little bit. I'm right there with you. Just think back, yama, ahimsa, do no harm. That's first rule of yoga. Knees, feet together, hips on your heels, arms over your head, palms together, cross your thumbs, stretch up and go down, chin away from your chest, forehead to floor, little fingers to floor, reach your arms forward and sink your hips down. Try to get elbows and wrists off the floor. Just the knife edges of your pinky fingers touch the floor, the rest of your arms are in the air. One day forehead touches the floor, hips touch the heels at the same time. Doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. As you inhale, reach your arms forward. As you exhale, sink your hips down, stretch, stretch, stretch. Change, slowly come up, arms with your ears, good, arms down, turn around, savasana. So it's pretty common for the forehead to not touch the floor in that posture. So if that's you, 2 things to keep in mind. One, as long as you're stretching, like as long as your back is stretching, in my book, you're doing okay. When the hips are a little higher than the head and you're stretching, you're doing the posture, even if head doesn't touch the floor. But something else to keep in mind, there's 2 sets, right? So maybe in one set you lift your hips a little higher or a lot higher to get your head on the floor and then stretch. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good. So maybe one set you work on getting the hips down, one set you work on getting the head down, right? Knees, feet together, hips on your heels, arms overhead, palms together, cross your thumbs, stretch up and go down. You are also always welcome to put your hands on the floor and walk yourself in. Otherwise, forehead to floor, little fingers to floor. So again, maybe lifting the hips a little higher to get the head to the floor and then sink back down, reach your arms forward, sink your hips down, re-energize, reorganize, revitalize. Good, change, slowly come up, arms with your ears, very nice, arms down, turn around, savasana. And it's easy sometimes to think like, if I can't get my head to the floor, there's something wrong with me, right? Or like, I'm not flexible enough, strong enough, whatever it is. A lot of times it is purely your physiology. It's just body proportions, right? Different body proportions is easier to touch the floor. It's harder to touch your head to your knee, whatever it is. So just keep that in mind. Like sometimes we can't touch our head to the floor because our back is tight and we're working on that. But some of us, head just doesn't touch the floor because of the proportion of our torso to our thighs. That's okay too. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good. Come to the top of your mat, camel ustrasana, our deepest back bend. Stand on your knees, 6 inches between your knees and your feet. Put your hands on your lower back, thumbs outside, fingers down to the floor. I'll show you from the side. Keep your eyes open. Try to keep hips over knees. Squeeze your butt. Look up. This might be enough. Just looking up towards the ceiling, you're already opening through the whole front of your body. When you're ready, lift your nose, lift your chin. Eventually, head goes back. Option to stay here or keep your hands on your back and go back halfway, freeze in the middle. Option to stay here, or when you're ready, right hand down, grab your right heel, left hand down, grab your left heel. Thumbs outside, fingers inside, full palm grip on your heels. Push your hips forward, lift your chest up, relax your head back, look for your toes behind you. If you can't grab your heels, or if you have to lean back a lot to grab your heels, Keep your hands on your back. It's better support for your spine. Change. Put your hands on your back if they're not there already. And then push yourself up. Head up last. Very nice. Turn around. Savasana. Head to the front of your mat. Feet to the back of your mat. So same thing in this posture. People with shorter torsos, it's a little bit harder to grab your heels, right? So it takes, right, because you have to bend less back real estate to grab the heels, right? Versus people like me with a long torso, it's easy for me to grab my heels, but guess what? In the next posture in rabbit pose, not so easy. So just keep that in mind. For sure, we are working on flexibility, strength, concentration, meditation, patience and determination in yoga. But going deep into postures, that's a byproduct, right? That's not actually the goal. Depending on your body proportions, maybe grabbing your heels doesn't work today. That doesn't necessarily have to do with like the suppleness of your spine, right? So just keep that in mind. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good, come to the top of your mat, second set. If these postures on the knees bother your knees, you're always welcome to roll up your mat so there's extra padding under your knees. Open your knees a little wider, 8 to 10 inches between your knees, 6 inches between your feet. Put your hands on your lower back. And second set, maybe try bringing your elbows closer together behind you. Whew, one day elbows touch. When you're ready, keep your eyes open, look up, lift your nose, lift your chin. You can stay here, or when you're ready, slowly go back halfway. You can stay here, or when you're ready, right hand down, grab your right heel, left hand down, grab your left heel, thumbs outside, fingers inside, full palm grip on your heels. Squeeze your butt, push your hips forward, lift your chest up, drop your head back, hold still and breathe. Okay, change. Put your hands on your back, push yourself up. Good for you. Head up last. Turn around, Savasana. So this style of yoga is pretty light on props, right? We just use a mat or even just like a carpeted area in our home. But the other prop, quote unquote, to keep in mind is the floor, right? So you're lying on a hard floor here. You wouldn't necessarily want to sleep on the hard floor overnight, but for the purpose of yoga, lying on a hard flat surface is really good for stretching out your body between postures. So after that deep back bend, picture everything like tendons, ligaments, muscles, everything kind of lengthening, softening, realigning to the floor. Savasana is a wonderful reset button for body and mind. Legs together, let's keep going. Arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good, come to the middle of your mat for rabbit, Sasana. So again, that last posture for my body proportions, pretty easy. This one, not so much. This posture will always be hard to me because of my body proportions. Knees, feet together, hips on your heels. Make rabbit ears and then grab your heels, thumbs outside, fingers inside, full palm grip on your heels. So if you have a long torso and short arms like me, at the top, you might not be able to grab your heels. You just grab your butt, stretch up, tuck your chin to your chest and go down. So you're gonna round your vertebrae slowly. Forehead to knees, automatically top of head to floor. From here, reach back, grab your heels, pull on your heels, don't lose the grip, and now lift your hips up. If there's a gap between your knees and head, you can walk your knees up one by one, but head stays in place. If your grip is sliding or your feet are coming off the floor, ease up a little bit, press your feet down, squeeze your heels together, push your hips forward, lift your shoulders up, suck your stomach in, round your spine. Good, change, hips down, slowly uncurl, vertebra by vertebra, head up last. Very nice, turn around, Savasana. So this sequence of 26 postures comes out of a wider sequence of 84 postures. And I'm part of an organization called USA Yoga that is part of actually an international body that does yoga as sports. So we do quote unquote yoga competitions. The spirit is very supportive. It is not a competitive atmosphere. It's super fun. But part of that is like on our website, there's like a whole thing that shows every single 84 posture being done to like the perfect degree. And there's like 5 different models or 3 different models that show them. And they're all people that like, if you're kind of in that world, are like famous yogis, right? You're like, ooh, they're really good at yoga, whatever it is. But I always think about the fact that like there's 84 postures, but there's multiple models, because guess what? Some of them are better at the splits, some of them are better at handstands, right? Again, like different body proportions, different types of bodies lend themselves to different postures. I've never, ever seen somebody who kicks ass at all 26 postures from the get-go, right? Some people you come in and you're strong, so the awkward pose is easy. Some people you come in, you're flexible, so the standing bow pose is easy. But we all have those postures that from the get-go, we're like, ooh, this is fun. We all have those postures from the get-go that are like, ooh, I can't do this, right? So it's just different people coming together with different body types, different backgrounds, experiences, histories, but we all get to practice the same yoga together. It's very special. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Second set, rabbit, knees, feet together, hips on your heels, make L's with your hands, grab your heels from outside, stretch up, tuck your chin to your chest and go down. So if this is your posture, but the other one was hard, savor this moment, right? Because you're inspiring people like me, you're teaching people like me when you do the best version of this posture. Pull on your heels, don't lose the grip, lift your hips up, squeeze your heels together, lift your shoulders up, press your hips forward, suck your stomach in, round your spine. Good, change, hips down, slowly uncurl, take your time, head up last, turn around, Savasana. So one of the members of USA Yoga is this guy named Joseph Insania. You can actually take his class online right now, which is pretty cool. But he's based out of Queens, and whenever I'm in New York, pre-COVID, I'll go and take his class. And it's very interesting because when people take his class and he looks fit and he'll like demo postures and he is fit, right? He's like good at the yoga and people are like, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. And then he'll tell them his story about like he has rheumatoid arthritis. He's had both of his knees replaced and he's always like, I wish I'd found yoga before my knee replacements, right? So it's like, you look at this guy and you just, ego goes, I could never do that. He's just really cool. That's not for me. And then, right, you learn his story and you're like, oh, I guess it is possible. So sometimes when we see people in class, we're like, that's not for me. That's for somebody else, right? We tell ourselves those stories. Notice when you're telling yourself those stories, let them go. Instead, when you see somebody do something that you want to do, don't take it as you can't do it. Take it as, oh, I can do it, right? We're trying to be inspired by each other rather than comparing ourselves to one another. Comparison, ooh, goes down a bad road real quick, but being inspired by one another, beautiful thing. One of the reasons why I love practicing yoga in community. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good, come to the middle of your mat, Janushirasana, head to knee pose, right leg out, left leg in. 2 legs make an L, a 90-degree angle, no wider. Keep your hips square. Inhale, arms overhead, stretch up. Exhale, turn to your right, tuck your chin to your chest, go down, bend your right leg, interlock your 10 fingers, grab your foot, flex your toes back. It's a great way to stretch the Achilles and calf. Bend elbows down to open shoulder blade scapula, suck your stomach in. Left elbow down, left shoulder down, roll into the left. Good, change, arms up, left leg out, right leg all the way in, stretch up. Turn to your left, tuck your chin to your chest and go down. So remember, it's just a little bit every day, kind of like braces in a teeth rather than mouth surgery, right? You're gently flexing your toes back, gently pulling the elbows down, chin to chest, stomach in. Right elbow down, right shoulder down. Good, change. Arms up, both legs out in front of you. Option to skip the sit up and stay here. Otherwise, lay down, let your spine realign and sit up. Paschimottanasana stretching. I'm going to show you from the side. Bend your knees, hook onto your big toes, your middle and index fingers, thumbs on top. Scoot your butt back, right, left, 10 to 15 times. If your legs are straight, lock your legs and fold forward. Now here's the thing, you want to go down with a flat back, right? So for flexi folks, it would be easy to bend the legs just a little bit, round the spine and touch the head and knees together, right? Easy peasy, pumpkin easy. This is not the posture. You want to lock your legs and go down with a flat back. Stomach to thighs pull, chest and knees stretch, one day toes and head touch. Good, change, come on up, turn around, Savasana. It's better to slowly go through postures than to like kind of quote unquote cheat into postures, right? By like ignoring the form. When we ignore the form in order to get depth, at some point it ends up biting you in the butt. That is my own personal experience too. Like in standing bow pulling pose, if you want to open the hips now, go for it, but eventually that's going to like hurt the hip, right? So if you just start from the beginning with the hips in line, progress is a little bit slower, but it's more sustainable. Same thing with all the postures. Form before depth. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. So for many of us, part of our yoga journey is about unlearning after we've done our original learning, and that's normal too. I'm right there with you. But the ideal is to never have to unlearn, right? Because you're just doing it the right way from the get-go. Right leg out, left leg in, arms over your head, stretch up, turn to your right, tuck your chin to your chest, go down. And I say that as somebody who's had to relearn and unlearn things many times because I like cheated my way through them a little bit. If you can touch your forehead and knee together, kick your heel forward. If your leg is straight, lock your leg, elbows down. One day, elbows to floor, left elbow down, left shoulder down, roll into the left. Good, change. Arms up, left leg out, right leg in, stretch up tall, turn to your left, tuck your chin to your chest and go down, forehead to knee, elbows to floor, stomach in, shoulders down, chest down, right elbow down, right hip down, two shoulders in line. Change, arms up, both legs out in front of you. If you're skipping, sit up, stay here. Otherwise, lay down and sit up. Second set stretching, bend your knees, hook onto your big toes with middle and index fingers, thumbs on top. Scoot your butt back, right, left, 10 to 15 times. So you want to keep your hips in line. Notice if the toes and knees come out, it's like hips opening up. You want to keep the hips in line so toes and heels touch, knees touch, flex your little toes back, lift up, and start to pull. Now, because of my physiology, my knee bones are coming together without my heels, right? That's okay if the feet are a little bit separated. That's okay, but you're never like having the toes turn in and the knees come out. Lift your chest and start to fold forward. Stomach to thighs, pull. Chest to knees, stretch. One day, toes and head touch. Good, change. Come on up, turn around, Savasana. So flexibility ends when bone touches bone. And again, everybody's physiology is different. Flexibility ends when bone touches bone. So that's an example of why not everybody can do lotus pose purely because of how your bones are laid out, right? However, most of us, we still have a little bit of give and go. We have a little bit of muscle, synovial fluid, stuff like that in between the bones. As long as you're working with muscle, joints, ligaments, tendons, there's room to increase flexibility. But when you hear bone hit, or when you feel bone hit bone, that's the end of it. You're not pushing beyond that. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. Good. Come to the middle of your mat, bend your left leg on the floor, spine twist, touch your right heel to your left knee corner, right arm close behind you, left arm up and over, grab your left knee with your left hand, heel and knee touch. Inhale, stretch up, stomach in. Exhale, look over, right shoulder twist. You can keep your right hand behind you or take it off the floor and do the half bind. Keep your right foot on the floor, left knee on the floor, point your left toes. Inhale, stretch up, stomach in. Exhale, look over your right shoulder, twist, twist, twist. Good. Change, unwind, swap out your legs. I'm going to show you from the side. Bend right leg on floor, touch left heel to right knee, left arm behind you, right arm up and over. Grab right knee with right hand, heel and knee touch. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, look over your left shoulder, twist. Notice if you're leaning back, if your knee and feet is coming off the floor, lean forward. So right knee down, left foot down. If you can balance here, take your hand off the floor, do the half bind. Keep spine straight, chest up, rib cage open. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, twist, twist, twist. Very nice. Change, unwind, turn around, Savasana. So especially in the era of Instagram, we see folks do crazy yoga postures or frankly, gymnastics or circus or contortion stuff, which I love. It's super cool. But remember, you don't need to do that stuff to have a good yoga practice, right? Number one rule of yoga, ahimsa, do no harm. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're being good to yourself, you're doing your yoga. Legs together, arms over your head, tuck your chin to your chest, sit up. And one of my favorite things about 26 and 2 yoga is that it's fairly accessible, right? You don't need to be able to do lotus pose to do 26 in 2 yoga, but we do a half lotus in tree pose. Final breathe in, Kapalabhati, sit knees, feet together, hips on your heels, hands on your thighs. If it hurts to sit on your feet, don't do it silly, sit on your butt, crisscross applesauce, but every once in a while, try to sit on your feet. That's a better position to be in for your diaphragm to move. Lick your lips, swallow a couple times. Concentrate, meditate, don't forget to have fun. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lick your lips, swallow a couple times, sit up tall, arms straight, shoulders down, away we go. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good for you. Honor yourself. Give yourself a hug. High five. Pat on the back. Final savasana. Close your eyes. Open your arms and legs. If you need to leave, I totally understand. If you have time, make time. Final savasana. So before class, when we were kind of talking about injuries and yoga injuries and stuff like that, and that's again why I went off on this tangent of how yoga injuries sometimes can be a little bit trickier to acknowledge than like a skiing injury, right? Where you blow out a knee versus you like twerk a knee. But one thing I was saying before class, I've never regretted a yoga class. Never, ever regretted it. There's been many times where I regret not coming to class. I've never regretted coming to a yoga class, but there have been times when I've regretted pushing myself, i.e. listening to my ego rather than my body. And those were times where it was no longer yoga, right? Because I was not practicing ahimsa, I was practicing something else that's like not so good. So I've never regretted coming to yoga, but I have regretted sometimes pushing myself a little bit too far. So just keep that in mind in your yoga practice. If you're ever like, I don't know, am I doing enough? You're probably doing enough, right? You're doing enough. Be good to yourself. Be gentle with yourself, right? Self-care is community care. When we come in here and we take some time for ourselves, it is so much easier to deal with all the other stuff outside of yoga. Take a slow inhale through your nose. This is your victory lap. Let it all go through the exhale breath. Breathe it in. Let it all go through the exhale breath. One more time, inhale. And let it all go through the exhale breath. You are so very alive. Sorry again for skipping one set of locust pose. Bye friends, love you all.